Senate will come to order. I ask everyone to present to please rise and recite with me the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Today's invocation will be delivered by Rabbi Mara Young of the Woodlands Community Temple in White Plains.
The story is told of a person who wished to climb to the top of a very high mountain. The mountain was steep and difficult to ascend, and the climber encountered many obstacles along the way. She was weary, discouraged, and often considered giving up. At times, she even felt that the summit was too far out of reach and that the climb was not worth the effort. However, she pushed forward, one step at a time. Every time she felt like giving up, she reminded herself that the goal was to reach higher, even if it seemed impossible. Slowly but surely, after much effort and struggle, she reached the top of the mountain. And when she finally arrived at the summit, she looked around and realized something incredible. As far as the eye could see, there were still higher peaks, taller mountains, new heights to reach. But instead of feeling discouraged, she felt a deep sense of joy and purpose, understanding that the journey itself, striving to go higher step by step, was the true reward. Distinguished officials, today you stand at the base of the mountain. The 2025 legislative session rises before you. The path of democracy is difficult, rocky terrain, uncertain paths, dead ends, and deadlocks. And yet we know the reward is great, a state built by the people for the people, governed by laws of justice, fueled by compassion at its core. As you begin your climb, you will observe the crags and summits of sessions before. Some you will surpass, some will loom higher. How lucky you are to have this opportunity before you. Set your feet upon the current mountain of possibility. Excelsior, onward, upward, may you be blessed in your ascent. Emblazoned on the seal of this Senate body, may this word be your guide. It urges you forward, excelsior, ever higher. As you embark upon this holy work of building and securing our democracy, stay true to the path of righteousness. As is written in the book of Proverbs, guard your heart as it is the source of life. Turn aside from crooked speech, distance yourself from wicked words, let your eyes look forward. May you behold the future with upright intentions. Survey your course, the way in which we may all prosper. Be not deterred by the left or the right, but walk the path of goodness. Source of goodness, bestow your blessings upon this assembled body and those who serve within it. Strengthen their capacity to listen, to discern, and to learn. While starting on disparate paths, guide them together, helping them to walk in ways of compromise and understanding, to walk humbly together in paths of peace. Divine presence, may the fruits of their labors be acceptable to you. You known by many names in many tongues, may we find unity in discovering the divine spark that lies within every representative, every citizen, every sojourner who seeks safety in our midst. May we see it in our homes and workplaces and in the beauty of nature itself. As we lift our eyes to the session before us, give us the strength to rise to the challenge and embrace the possibility. We express gratitude for being kept alive, sustained, and brought to this auspicious day, and we give thanks for the holiness we may manifest with our own hands, words, and hearts. Amen.
chair now hands down a message from the State Board of Elections, being the duly official certification of the members of the Senate, and directs the same be filed. So handed down and so ordered. I now ask all senators present to please rise at this time to take the ceremonial oath of office. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Senator according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations on your election to the Senate. The Secretary shall read the names of the members present to ascertain that a quorum exists.
Senator Addabbo, Senator Ashby, Senator Bailey, Senator Baskin, Senator Borrello, Senator Brisport, Senator Brooke, Senator Bino, Senator Canzonieri Fitzpatrick, Senator Chan, Senator Claire, Senator Comrie, Senator Cooney, Senator Fahey, Senator Felder, Senator Fernandez, Senator Gallivan, Senator Gianaris, Senator Gonzalez, Senator Gunardez, Senator Griffo, Senator Harcum, Senator Helming, Senator Henchy, Senator Hoyman Siegel, Senator Jackson, Senator Kavanaugh, Senator Kruger, Senator Lanza, Senator Liu, Senator Martinez, Senator Martins, Senator Matera.
A quorum is present and the Senate may proceed. Good afternoon. As the President of the Senate, it is my distinct honor to welcome all of you to the 2025 legislative session. Let me first just say Happy New Year's to everyone. I hope you all had a very blessed holiday season. To the esteemed Majority Leader Stuart Cousins, it is always good to see you, and thank you for the invitation to preside over the Senate, and thank you for your leadership. To Deputy Majority Leader Gianaris, Minority Leader Ort, Deputy Minority Leader Lanza, and to all of the members of this incredible body. As we gather here today and mark the start of a new legislative session, may it also mark the start of new opportunities to collaborate and work together to deliver for communities all across our great state. Let us remember that governing is not the same as campaigning. Governing is about representation. Everyone in this body represents real people, real families, with real hopes and dreams. And we do right by them when we govern responsibly, effectively, collaboratively, with transparency and accountability. Our diverse points of view should not be a weakness to exploit in order to score political points, but rather a strength to be leveraged in order to deliver meaningful results for all New Yorkers from every walk of life. We are, before anything else, public servants, here to serve, ideally from a place of genuine concern for our fellow New Yorkers and with real love for the place we all call home. We all love New York. We all love our great country. And my hope in these politically divisive times is that each of us, by way of example, can inspire those we serve to heed their better angels. As President Lincoln once said in his first inaugural address, we are not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. the mystic chords of memory stretching from every battlefield and patriot grave to every living heart and hearthstone all over this broad land, will yet swell the chorus of the Union when again touched, as surely they will be, by the better angels of our nature. As leaders, let us set the example. I certainly look forward to working with every single one of you as I continue to build out the New York State Office of Service and Civic Engagement, which I'm incredibly proud to lead. I had the opportunity to connect with a number of you about how we can work together to uplift communities through service and civic engagement, and I look forward to connecting with more of you in the coming year. Each of you has a deep connection with the communities you represent and what their needs and priorities are. And I would be honored to work with you to ensure that this new office empowers folks all across New York to find greatness within. As Dr. King once said, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. So let's get busy being great and love each other. Thank you. Senator Gianaris.
Thank you, Governor Delgado, and thank you for joining us for today's opening session. Can you please recognize Senator Ort for remarks?
Senator Ort.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant Governor, and good afternoon to my colleagues from around the state on both sides of the aisle. It's always good to be back on this day. I told my members this morning, you know, today's probably the best day of session except for the last day of session, right? I mean, that's kind of how it goes. But today's a good day. It always reminded me kind of like, you know, back to school, right? Everyone's got their new back to school clothes on, their new threads, and we're all excited at the post-holiday glow. But it's also when there's a lot of optimism, right? It's a new year. Yes, there are many challenges in front of us, but none of those challenges, in my estimation, are new. They are challenges that have existed now, either for several years, or they're challenges that have existed in front of the state in the past. And previous legislatures, previous governors, previous administrations have had to grapple with similar issues. And I believe I would say many times they have grappled with it and they have effectively addressed those issues. So now the question is, the challenges, like any legislature convening around the country today, every state legislature, our Congress, will we be able to step up and face and deal with the challenges facing us here in this body, in this state, in this moment? And being today a day of optimism, today is a day when we can say, yes, we hope so. Now, not everything is able to get done in every session, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have to come back. There'd be one session, we would do it, and that would be the end of it. But today is a day when we are hopeful, we are optimistic, and it's a day when we get to come back. There's some new members here. I'm going to talk about one of them now. We get to see old friends, but I think just as importantly, hopefully we get to make new friends. I look forward, I know my colleagues do, my members in the Republican Conference look forward to working with our colleagues across the aisle where we can, and hopefully to address the issues facing the people of New York State, which are as true for people in Manhattan as they are in Niagara County, and are as true for people in the North Country as they are in Nassau, and everywhere in between. One of those new members, I'm proud to welcome back, certainly all my members. Everyone that was here last year came back, which is, in my view, a very good thing. And we have a new member, Senator Chan, who represents Senate District 17 in Brooklyn. Senator Chan is a Marine. So, Senator Sanders, you got someone else here for you, right? Another Marine. He is a former NYPD sergeant. So he is someone who has served this country in military uniform. He's also someone who served the great city of New York in the uniform of the NYPD Blue. And he is also the first Asian American Republican state senator in our state's history. So Senator Chan, welcome to the New York State Senate. I know Senator Chan is ready to get to work along with all of my other colleagues. Briefly, because I don't think today is really a policy speech day, but we all know the issues facing our state. We just concluded an election cycle where we heard all about the issues from candidates running for a myriad of offices, obviously right here in New York, whether it was congressional, Senate, Assembly. And we saw how the voters felt on these issues. So we talk about affordability. That's a term that is going to be brought up today, brought next week, when the governor no doubt gives her state of the state. I'm sure we will hear about affordability. We've heard about affordability a lot in the last several years. Unfortunately, from my vantage point, we haven't done as much on affordability. In fact, our conference, I think, would argue we have contributed to making New York less affordable going forward. And voters have said that has to change. Voters are concerned about affordability. What does that mean? They're concerned about the money in their wallet and having less of it. Having less of it to pay their bills, to heat their homes, to put their kids through college. Having less of it to provide for their families, for their hopes and dreams, as Lieutenant Governor, you outlined, I think, very well. Hopes and dreams usually cost money, unfortunately. And if people are going to meet their hopes and dreams in New York, we have to make this state more affordable for them to reach their hopes and dreams here and not in other states, as we know we've seen people do. Crime remains a major issue. I'm not going to go into all these horrible incidents that have happened recently, but we all see them. We all see the videos. We all know them. And I think I believe we all are horrified when we see these things occur. But we have to do something about it. We have to be honest about how we got there, and we have to take action. And that takes political will, political courage, and our conference stands ready to take that action. Certainly, we talk about issues, the issue of immigration, both nationally and here in New York State, is a big issue. And we know it's an issue. We know it's an issue for New Yorkers, for voters, for people in New York City, as well as in other parts of the state. I am very excited, and I know some of my colleagues will not share my enthusiasm, but I am very excited about the transfer of federal administrations and the incoming Trump administration. And I hope, I'm not so caught up in the moment of optimism that I think it'll be easy or that it'll be all the time, but I hope that this body, that this governor will work with the Trump administration on issues like affordability, on issues like immigration, for the betterment of New Yorkers, and not work against the administration for the betterment of our political careers. New Yorkers have spoken, the American people have spoken. The issues of affordability and crime and immigration and energy are not just New York issues, they're issues across the country. And we have an obligation to address those issues regardless of political party. And I am hopeful that we will. I'm looking forward to working with two prominent New Yorkers, Elise Stefanik, who will soon be the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, and Lee Zeldin, who served in this body as a state senator and obviously is soon to head up the EPA, which no doubt I think will have real implications, hopefully positive ones, for the state of New York. So, Mr. President, I look forward to the new year. I look forward to the new administration in Washington. I look forward to my colleagues here in this body, working with Senator Chan, as well as my colleagues across the aisle, for the betterment of the people of this state on the issues that we know are facing them and driving them out. And I say the driving them out part because I think at the end of the day, that is the single biggest challenge and threat to the future viability of our state. If we are losing our most valuable asset, which is people, to other states, then that affects the economy, it affects employers, it affects who pays the taxes to fund the programs that people do need. And so we have to do something about that, and I am optimistic and I am hopeful that everyone in this chamber shares the political will and courage to do just that today. So, Mr. Lieutenant Governor, nice to see you here in this chamber. You're always welcome back. Don't just make it a one day and the first day. I know you got to be here today, but we're always happy to have you back here whenever you want to. Thank you for your indulgence. And to my colleague, Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousins, Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, thank you for your partnership. I thank her for our many conversations on the phone where she listens to me, sometimes go on and rant and, just do what I have to do and express my views. But we have a great relationship and one that I'm very proud of because it's not always easy when you're in these roles, leading conferences, to try to find that common ground and have that dialogue. And certainly to my colleague, Senator Gianaris, and then my partner to my right, maybe figuratively, but maybe politically, is our great deputy, Senator Andy Lanza. And Senator Lanza does a great job here. He's on the floor a lot, but he's most excited because now, with Senator Chan, he is no longer the lone Republican in New York City. And so I know he's happy about that. And to the families who are here, maybe you're here for the first time. It's a remarkable chamber. It's a remarkable building. And I know, I've said this before, and it's really true for me. Sometimes I think when we come here all the time, every week, you sort of take advantage or you take for granted that we work here. And we shouldn't do that. And today, with you here, it's always a stark reminder how privileged we are and how honored and awesome the responsibility is to work in this chamber on behalf of the people of the state of New York. So thank you for being here, Mr. Lieutenant Governor. Thank you for being here. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Ort, for expressing the spirit of optimism. And you are right that it is always important to listen. Listen is very fundamental to how we collaborate and build together. To Senator Chan, welcome, and thank you for your service to our country and to New York. And to the families as well who are having this experience today for the first time. It is good to be with you as well. As Senator Ort said, it is a magnificent, awesome space to be in that we should always cherish. Senator Gianaris.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a resolution at the desk. I ask that the resolution be read and move for its immediate adoption and for the opportunity to be heard.
The Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 1 by Senator Gianaris, providing for the election of Andrea Stewart-Cousins as temporary president of the Senate for the years 2025-2026.
Senator Gianaris.
John J. Dunnigan. Now there's a name we've not heard in a long time. A long time. He was, Senator Dunnigan, for those of you that may not be familiar with him, was the majority leader of this chamber almost 100 years ago. Now, why is he special? Well, for one thing, he was a Democrat, which gives him extra points in my book. He was the author of the state's pari-mutuel betting law, so Senator Dabo, extra appreciation for Majority Leader Dunnigan. But for our purposes here today, most notably, he was the majority leader of the state Senate for 2,188 days. Was the longest serving Democrat majority leader in New York State history. He also was the author of one of the first efforts to establish an equal rights amendment in New York State. Unsuccessfully, in 1919, he introduced that proposal. So it's only fitting that that job, with the help of the voters a couple of months ago, was finally finished under the leadership of Andrea Stewart Cousins. Because this past Sunday, the woman sitting next to me served her 2,189th day as Majority Leader of the State Senate. So I take it you've all figured out that 2,189 is one more than 2,188. And she is now the longest serving Democrat Majority Leader in our state's history. Of course, first woman to serve in that role, first black woman to serve in that role, but her achievements are so much more than being first on so many lists, because it has been quite a 6 years that we have had with Andrea Stewart Cousins as the leader of this body. For those of you that were around back then, and there's fewer and fewer of us as time goes on, the reputation of this body, let's just say, was less than stellar before her ascension to Majority Leader in 2019. And now, 6 years later, we can have our policy disagreements, and we often do, but nobody questions the integrity of this body and the character with which it is governed. On housing, which is an issue that we care greatly about, the strongest housing protections the state has ever seen are now in place. We have finally resolved the issue of funding our schools in compliance with the state constitutional requirements, which was something that puzzled previous administrations of the Senate. And of course, we have created historic protections in our time in the majority for so many individuals throughout this state who have been discriminated against and abused over the decades. But it's not just what has happened, but what remains to be done. You heard Senator Orr talk about affordability. Yes, we're going to hear a lot about affordability, as we have in the past and certainly will now. It is top of mind for so many of the people we represent. And I think affordability for so many of us means more than just making it easier for wealthy people to live here and making it harder for working people. I think you will see a dedicated effort to continue making New York, which is a very expensive place, easier for people to provide for their families, to care for their children, to go and get health care, more so certainly than has been done in the past. We also expect, with respect to Senator Ort's statement in this regard, but I think we're expecting some curveballs out of Washington, D.C. that we perhaps can't even anticipate that we're going to have to deal with. And there is no one whose steady hand I would want on the wheel as we react to that than Andrea Stewart Cousins, who has shown the type of steady leadership and sober leadership that is prepared to deal with this moment. And so once again, I've had the privilege of giving this nominating speech now 4 times. And it is one of the greatest honors of my service here in the State Senate to get to present to the people of this state and to the people of this State Senate the opportunity to support the greatest majority leader New York State has ever had in its history, Andrea Stewart Cousins. Mr. President, I encourage all my colleagues to vote yes on this resolution.
The question is on the resolution offered by Senator Gianaris. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. I now call on Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins to come forward to be sworn in as temporary president of the Senate by Judge Rowan Wilson, Chief Judge of the Court of Appeals.
Join my daughter Candace and my son Kevin and my daughter-in-law Keisha and the child that you've seen growing up. Now the senior in Howard, Kendall. And Candace, yes, you get to stand on that.
right hand, Senator, and repeat after me. I, Andrea Stewart Cousins,
I, Andrea Stewart Cousins,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold and defend
to uphold and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the
of
Constitution
the great state of New York,
of the great state of New York,
and to fulfill the duties of the office
and to fulfill the duties of the office
of temporary president
of temporary
and
president
majority leader
and majority leader
of the Senate of the state of New York
of the Senate of the state of New York
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I'll call her up. Congratulations, Majority Leader Stewart Cousins. Senator Gianaris.
Mr. President, I think we are now going to hear remarks from
Yes.
the newly re-elected Majority Leader of the State Senate.
Majority Leader Stewart Cousins, please come forward for opening remarks.
Thank you so much. So, good afternoon. It really has that first day of school atmosphere. I know, so for all you young people here who think that we don't get just as excited on the first day, now you know, we do. And I really want to thank our Lieutenant Governor for always being present when called upon and always bringing, your wisdom and your perspective to this opening day ceremony. We so appreciate you and look forward to working with you during this year. And of course, to Rabbi Mara Young, thank you so much, Rabbi. I loved the metaphor, climbing those mountains. I know many of us believe that once we've climbed that mountain, we've arrived. And clearly, those of us who know that those mountains never recede, we need the energy and the inspiration to continue to go. And as long as we are here, we know that working together, we can achieve high heights. Thank you so much for being present and reminding us of that. And to all of our families who are here, again, I think what you said, Leader Ort, was true. You know, people, we kind of take for granted, we come in, we do our work, but it is an extraordinary place to be and to actually represent so many folks in our district. But the fact that we are all here is because we do have the support of so many of our family members, and certainly my family has sacrificed for years and years, and most of you do, in order to allow us to sit in these very magnificent chambers and do that work. So we do appreciate you, and we are very, very happy that you are here. I also really want to give a special welcome back to Senator Mark Walsick. You know what I'm thinking? I said, you know, Senator, there were a lot of people who were happy. It's an inside joke, but we are certainly happy to have you back, safe and sound, and really, really appreciate your work on behalf of our nation, your service on behalf of our nation. You notice when I said there were some people who were happy, it was, you know, the laughter was kind of, you know. So it's an honor to mark the start of another session as a Senate Majority Leader. And, you know, this work could not be done without really the support, not only of my incredible conference and all of you here, but certainly I want to give a special shout out to my Deputy Mike Gianaris. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for the fourth nomination. And it was me sitting next to you who said, who? When you were talking about the senator, because it was so long ago that I certainly lost track. But you see, people like you actually pay attention to those things. So it really is an honor. And again, thanks for keeping the trains running and for being by my side every step of this journey. For us today is really not just the opening of session. It's a day for all of us to take time to reconnect, to refocus, to recommit to important work that we do together. I kind of, I'm excited too. And Senator Ortt, I look forward to working with our colleagues across the aisle and certainly to continue our partnership with Governor Hochul, with Speaker Hastie in the Assembly, and to accomplish the people's work. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the new majority class in the Senate, because I found that every incoming group of people, there's a certain thing, a characteristic. And last time we were here during opening day 2 years ago when we had a new class, we had the historic all-female class of senators. Never seen before in this chamber, and I don't believe in the Assembly as well. But now they're old hands. They've been around. But now we have another new class. And this is a new class that I can't really call freshmen, because each of them is coming to us with an extensive legislative background and experience. So why don't I begin with one member who comes directly from the Assembly, and somebody who's no stranger to this building, former Assemblywoman, now Senator Pat Fahey. Pat, welcome. And she's the first woman to represent the Albany-based seat. So congratulations, Senator Fahey. Next, Senator Sheila Bino, coming to us from Nassau County. Before that, she was a member of the local Board of Education before she was a county legislator. And she too is shattering a glass ceiling. She's the first Black state senator from Long Island. Congratulations. Senator Chris Ryan, come on, stand up. He was also a former local town board member, and he was a minority leader of the Onondaga County Legislature, as well as being the president of CWA's Local 1123. Welcome, Chris Ryan. And from the great state of Buffalo, I will say what she said, rough buff, Senator April Baskin. Served as the chair of the Erie County Legislature. And she also, another ceiling breaker, first Black woman elected to the state Senate from Buffalo. So, by the way, with the addition of these 3 new female senators, this chamber, I know, listen to this, a historic number of women sitting in the Senate. Yay! 22. Stand up, ladies. Get the ladies, stand up. Stand up, ladies. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And all who support. You guys can stand up too. Come on, guys, stand up. I don't want you all to feel, I didn't want you to feel left out. I want you to stand up too. You could, after the ladies. Well, you know, this is a big deal for me. When I first came in 2007, there were 9 women in the chamber, only 9. And I really want to remind us that here in New York, as well as in the nation, you know, women are holding up at least 50% of New York in terms of population. So, you know, we're not there, but we're certainly getting there. And, you know, I like to say to stand up because representation matters. And of course, welcome Senator Chan as well. It is you too, as Senator Orr said, besides being a veteran, a ceiling breaker as well. So there is no question that we are entering a year defined by enormous challenges. Yes, with the incoming administration in Washington, uncertainty does hang heavy in the air. But let me be clear, New York has never been a state to back down. And when others seek to divide, we stand united and tall. We do not just endure challenges, we meet them head on and we lead the way for the nation. This year, we have a vital legislative window to address our residents' real struggles and continue being a beacon of hope, of progress, and of resilience for the entire country. Amid mixed national election results this past November, we in this chamber were sent back to the people with a mandate to continue our transformative work, the work that we've set out to do since 2019. Since 2019, we've delivered transformative change, always focused on helping everyday New Yorkers, from fully funding public education to passing much-needed voting reforms like early voting. We've taken bold steps to protect our environment, expand opportunities for affordable higher education, safeguard Medicaid, fortify reproductive freedoms through SHIELD laws, and yes, a strong Equal Rights Amendment. We've also stood firmly in support of municipalities, our safety net hospitals, and essential services across our state. We've always kept our focus on affordability. While we've made great strides by expanding the Earned Income Tax Credit, capping property taxes, raising the minimum wage, and securing and expanding paid family leave, we know families are still feeling the pinch. And we know the challenges ahead require maintaining and strengthening our resolve to make New York more affordable. As New York Senate Majority, we're in our communities, taking action on things that matter most. Our constituents know us because they see us fighting for them. And after half a decade of showing up, doing the work, delivering results, they know that we'll meet that moment. We're not a one-and-done conference. Although Senate Democrats have been the architects of New York's boldest policies, there is much more to be done. One of the challenges to working families and our local economies is the uncertainty in Washington. When federal funding is threatened, everyone is harmed, and certainly the most vulnerable are hit the hardest. But here in New York, we've repeatedly proven that we can and will step up to protect our residents. That means building on the progress that we've made, expanding universal pre-kindergarten, taking it one step further by moving towards universal childcare, because working parents deserve affordable, high-quality care for their children, continuing to fully fund our public schools, ensuring that every child, no matter their zip code, has the tools they need to succeed, and cutting the cost of everyday essentials by continuing to fight for meaningful prescription drug reforms and reduced prices for our consumers. No New Yorker should put off medical care due to worry about the cost. Furthermore, as New Yorkers grapple with their utility bills, we'll double down on efforts to lower the cost of energy and protect ratepayers from price gouging. All this while continuing to tackle exorbitant costs at the register for food and clothing. We'll continue to stand up for our farmers because they are a critical piece of our fight for affordable food. Because we all know there's no farms, there is no food. We're building our efforts to address New York's housing crisis by protecting tenants and making bold investments in affordable working class and middle income housing to ensure that every New Yorker has a place to call home. And we will continue to fight for policies that make it easier for first-time home buyers to get their foot in the door. We will support our existing programs that will keep people in their homes amid financial setbacks, and advance policies that keep the cost of living down for seniors and our veterans and others on fixed incomes. We will also redouble our efforts to make higher education more affordable, because the path to the middle class begins with opportunities that are accessible to all. As the birthplace of the American labor movement, we know that unions are one of the surest paths to the middle class. We'll continue to advance robust labor protections and benefits to expand our workforce from the ground up. We'll remain a safe haven when the right to organize and collectively bargain is not recognized but encouraged. And we will once again champion improvements to worker benefits like temporary disability insurance, while continuing to advance measures that make it easier to join our public workforce. By the same token, our conference has proudly fought for Main Street by injecting billions of dollars into small businesses and cultural institutions. This year, we'll recommit our efforts to these economic drivers to ensure that the cost of doing business in New York doesn't shutter our moms and pops. Tackling the affordability crisis and getting New Yorkers back on track must be our top priority, but we can't ease up on the fight for our most basic freedoms. We will continue to protect the rights of all New Yorkers and will once again look to bolster reproductive health freedoms. For decades, we were told that Roe v. Wade was settled law and would never change. Well, we know that was a false promise. This year is the eve of the 250th anniversary of our great nation, and New York played a critical role in the birth of our great democracy. All of us in this chamber are tasked with protecting that democracy. That's why we'll be charging ahead at the top of this session with a renewed voting rights package. We cannot ignore the weight of this moment. Forces of extremism are working harder than ever to sow division and discord. Here in New York, we will rise above the chaos. We'll chart a course grounded in equity, in fairness, and in opportunity for all. This is our chance, it's our responsibility to lead, not just for today, but for future generations. Together, we will meet the challenges of this moment and show the nation what true leadership looks like, true representational leadership looks like. Thank you for standing with us, believing in what we can accomplish together, and your unwavering dedication to building, yes, an affordable, safer, fairer, and stronger New York. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Majority Leader Stewart-Cousins. Senator Gianaris.
Mr. President, there's a resolution at the desk adopting the rules of the Senate. Can we take that up at this time?
Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 2 by Senator Stewart-Cousins, providing for the adoption of the rules of the Senate for the years 2025-2026.
The question is on the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Senator Gianaris.
There's another resolution at the desk calling for the election of the Secretary of the Senate. Can we take that up, please?
Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 3 by Senator Stewart-Cousins, resolved that Alejandro Paulino of Albany, New York, be and hereby is elected Secretary of the Senate for the years of 2025 to 2026.
The question is on the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Ms. Paulino, I ask that you please come forward to receive your oath of office while Senator Stewart-Cousins performs the swearing in.
Oh, nice. Oh, it's good to see you again. Good to see you. How you been? Getting big, huh? Oh my, look at, oh, beautiful. That's okay, I haven't seen any babies. What do you want? Okay. Okay, raise your right hand. And again, thank you so much for all you do for all of us to make sure that these chambers and everything that goes on works smoothly. So Alejandra, thank you. Okay, so you'll repeat after me and state your name. I, state your name,
I, Alejandra Noel Paulino,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold and support the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold and support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and to dutifully perform my duties as Secretary of the New York State Senate.
and dutifully
Perform.
perform all of the duties as Secretary of the New York State Senate
To the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Ms. Paulino. Senator Gianaris.
Next up is a resolution pertaining to the appointment of the Sergeant at Arms. Let's take up that resolution, please.
Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 4 by Senator Stewart-Cousins, resolved that Benjamin M. Sturgis be and hereby is elected Sergeant at Arms of the Senate for the years 2025-2026.
The question is on the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted. For the record, Benjamin Sturgis has been elected Sergeant at Arms for the years 2025 to 2026. Senator Gianaris.
Next up is a resolution appointing Catherine Kirkland as Senate stenographer. Let's take that up, please.
Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 5 by Senator Stewart-Cousins, resolved that Catherine Kirkland be and hereby is elected the official stenographer of the Senate for the years 2025 to 2026.
Question is on the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted. For the record, Catherine Kirkland has been elected official stenographer of the Senate for the years 2025 to 2026. It is my honor to present to you the official stenographer of the Senate. Senator Gineris.
I find this next one more procedural and technical because we all know we work all hours of the day and night. But there is a resolution setting forth the hours of the Senate for 2025 to 2026. Let's take that up, please.
The Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 6 by Senator Stewart Cousins, providing for the hours of meeting by the Senate for the years 2025, 2026.
The question is on the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Senator Gineris.
Let's now take up the resolution appointing a committee of 2 to inform the governor.
Secretary will read. Senate Resolution 7 by Senator Stewart Cousins, resolved that the temporary president appoint a committee of 2 comprised of Senator Baskin and Senator Rollison for the purpose of informing the governor that the Senate is organized and ready to proceed with business.
The question is on the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Senator Gineris.
Next up, the resolution appointing the committee of 2 being Senator Pat Fahey and Senator Walshik to inform the Assembly. Please take that up.
Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution Number 8 by Senator Stewart Cousins, resolved that the temporary president appoint a committee of 2 comprised of Senator Fahey and Senator Walshik for the purpose of waiting upon the Assembly, informing that body that the Senate is assembled and ready to proceed with business.
The question is on the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Senator Gineris.
On behalf of Majority Leader Stewart Cousins, I hand up the following committee and conference assignments of the Majority Conference and ask that it be filed in the Journal.
The hand-up is received and shall be filed in the Journal.
On behalf of Majority Leader Stewart Cousins, in consultation with Senator Ord, I hand up the following committee assignments of the Minority Conference and ask that it please be filed with the Journal.
The hand-up is received and shall be filed in the Journal.
If we could return to messages from the Governor, I believe we have a message.
Secretary will read. The Senate has received the governor's invitation to the State of the State on January 14th, and it will be noted in the Journal. Senator Gineris.
Is there any further business at the desk today?
There is no further business at the desk.
I move to adjourn until Monday, January 13th at 3 p.m., intervening days being legislative days.
On motion, the Senate will stand adjourned until Monday, January 13th at 3 p.m., intervening days being legislative days. The Senate is adjourned.